You know what? There's just way too many videos of Zoom calls to do these for. So basically, I'm just going to put this one before all of them. What you're about to watch are part of the leaders that were going to run Paramount Pictures, a new generation, lean and mean, and basically the people that were needed to build a new studio system. But corporate greed and legacy wealth and maybe political presidential interference took all of that away. So most of the people on all these Zooms introduce themselves. For those that don't, well, you could just Google their names because they're all leaders in the worlds that they come from. My name is William Potter Clevinger. I did this with family, hundreds of them, and I will never stop, ever, until we are seen and heard. I don't see your video, E. There we go.
What's up, Will?
Hey, buddy. Feel like feel like I'm living the movie, man. V for Vendetta, anonymous behind the scenes stuff, building this endlessly. Let's dive in because I know you're limited for time. Um, I just wanted you to be able. So the plan is I want to record a little introduction for you to introduce your movie to the world. Um, we're gonna drop your art in the middle of what I'm considering art and we've all made as it's been this journey and just documenting all this. That's why we recorded Zoom calls, which everybody knew were being recorded. For anybody to think that this was never going to air, well, they were showing up for stuff that was progressing the path forward. So, Eric, if you'll just let the friendly world know kind of how we met, what we've been talking about for years now, and kind of your journey and how you came to making this movie and what you hope can come from the endless conversations that we've had about change and giving independent filmmakers a platform and voice. I'll never forget that conversation that you and I had about sort of the mumblecore indie genre and just going and make a movie. So if you just this is a time to let the world know who you are as a filmmaker, and then I'll wrap up with some stuff. And not to put you on the spot, but it's you know I sent you a text a couple weeks ago saying that I felt like everything I had been pushing forward, you, your brother, your family, that was going to be one of the reasons why this kind of culminated. I don't have anybody else's movie right now based on what's going on that I can drop and show the talent that we have on an indie level that are still crafting stories from being kept outside the studio Hollywood gates. So you've always been such a inspiration in my life because you went and directed a movie, bro. You see, I've had all these mirrors of who I was supposed to be. You were kind of one of those too, but the difference is you're a multi hyphenate. There were a lot of filmmakers that I was helping and giving my dreams and my energy to that were simply just trying to progress their own lives from one point to the next and not looking at, no pun intended, the big picture. And you and I have always talked about you being in front of the camera with me behind it. So that's what we're doing now. And this video is going to be on basically what's introducing my directorial debut with you as one of the marquee cast members, along with Sidney L. Brocious, Jamie King, Dave Sheridan, Robert Russler, Martin Kleba, Richard Brake. Lists of names that are legends and some that are about to be legends because they built all of this. I say that humbly. So that's my intro. The floor is yours, and just make it happen.
Nice. Yeah. What met a few years ago, when I was living in Los Angeles, I got your contact from, I guess, Tyron to my brother Michael, and then Michael said, "Hey, reach out to Will." Reached out to you, and I guess about a week later, I was in your living room, and we were just talking about talking about filmmaking, talking about the big picture, and just what your plan was, what your idea was, and also, I mean, some of it has changed throughout the course of this, but I mean, that's just the way that things go. But the one thing that's been the same is your, stick-to-itiveness and due diligence. And I've kind of just been, I had an opportunity to go be in a movie as an actor, and then in my mind, the way that this works is a lot of some of these times, sometimes when you're not in control of these things, they tend to fall apart or they tend to not be released, or that's just kind of the nature of this business. So after I finished the acting thing that I did, I went and wrote my own movie because, well, once I finished acting school or whatnot, I
Yeah.
guess acting school, I kind of just immediately picked up a camera, grabbed the sound equipment, and just said, I'm going to tell my own stories because I just really fell in love with like the Neil Simon plays and like some stuff from like Lyle Kessler and these like realistic stories. And obviously, like I, went on my John Cassavetes kind of binge watch, and he was a huge inspiration of mine, and also the Duplass brothers. And then I found out the mumblecore movement and all this stuff. And what I realized, like even with these like Italian neo realism films that I was learning, like basically what they were doing was just utilizing all the stuff that they had and then building a story around that. And then I mean, post World War II in Europe, to get super deep, uh, there wasn't a lot of money for films. There wasn't a lot of great places to film. So basically, these filmmakers were just utilizing the apartments, using lamps as lights because those were the only resources. And that's how they actually, the first jump cut was in like a foreign film because, well, the film was so basic. They had to do these things to chop it up and make it a little bit, make the pacing better. So, I mean, I kind of just like went through my own little film school that way. And then slowly but surely became somewhat better at writing stories and also always writing things close to who I am. So that way, when I'm wearing multiple hats, the acting thing just comes a lot easier. Whereas like the directing and the scheduling, all that, the producing stuff is a little bit harder because, well, when you're in a position like leadership, you have to deal with so many more things. So, I mean, I wanted to make sure whatever I wrote, it was easy for me to get in front of a camera, and then within one or two takes, I'm done. We can move on. So that was ultimately that's been kind of what my plan is since I stopped going to acting school. I was like, I'm gonna put my money into my own projects rather than put it into an acting coach's pocket because I feel like you can only get so good at acting. And after you get so good, you have to get in front of the camera and you have to learn as many parts of the as the machine as you possibly can. That way, when you become an actor and you're working with someone, let's say one day you're lucky enough to work with Martin Scorsese, you know where your mark is, you know where the light is, you know all these things because you've been creating your own. Uh, you've been just creating your own things, so these things come a lot easier, and you look like somebody who they want to work with again because you're making the day easier, you're making the day quicker. So that's kind of where my mindset was. And sometimes people, like my first acting coach was like, you're an actor, not a director, not a writer. And I'm like, I understand that, but I see a lot of people chasing their tails, and I'm not going to put my career in a position to where somebody else is the one telling me when I can do things or giving me permission. So it was, that was 10 years ago. And I told myself, well, I'll give you, let's see what happens in 10 years. I could be wrong. I could be right. But I knew that like with the way technology was starting to roll out, it would be dumb for me not to it would be dumb for me not to spend a few grand on a camera and just go. And then I never really got super into like these, small things. Now TikTok is big. I've never gotten into those things. I've always gravitated towards like true narrative stories with like arcs. So I mean, it's definitely it's harder to get eyeballs on your stuff, but I do know that when an opportunity is presented to me, there won't be anything too big or too small for me to understand and also just jump in and help. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times
100%.
when you get into these situations, you just want to, at the end of the day, you want to make everyone else's job as easy as it can possibly be. And you don't want to be the one that makes it harder because these things are so hard to get done. They're so hard for the day to start and the day to end. It's almost like just me being somebody who's like, easy to work with. Like that's it, and then having
So
all the
there,
experience, that's pretty much what I was going for.
I didn't want to interrupt you there at the end. Thank you for all that. I was going to say, your film, I'm showcasing this because with our streaming platform, which we started building last year, I'm going to keep the person that's constructed that and his name silent because he's asked that till he steps forward, the same manner I have. The whole reason why we're launching and doing this international film festival is so films of all budget sizes from all over the world can be submitted to us. And we'll have enough brand advertising dollars behind everything in the manner that we're going to set up, how this platform functions and runs, that we can literally distribute and put out movies from all walks of life and all budget ranges. And art's subjective. So for somebody to watch something and be like, no, this shouldn't be distributed, or oh, this should be in theaters, this should be on VO. Fuck all that shit. And to be honest, we have theatrical distribution lined up too. So I want you, I promised you 3 years ago almost, we were going to do this, that you were going to run and oversee an indie division of movies made for specific numbers. I want to be able to partner with brands in the manner that I have visions put forward and plans put forward that we're going to be executing now to basically essentially attach one brand advertiser behind specific movies and have it be a present start to finish thing, and then utilize our platform, connecttoyourcity.com, and our channel to promote and market the entire making of process of those movies. So it's creating endless content that's more than just a movie, that basically outside parties that are not traditional film financiers and investors can fully fund, because it's almost a major marketing ad buy, but not in a way that's ever been done before, just like none of this is. So you're going to oversee that along with Dan Roebuck and Mike Callio. And that will be the entire indie division. Livia Pillman's involved in that. So is Sebastian Harrison. They introduced me to freaking Franco Nero. Franco's got a movie, the original Django. It's incredible, incredible artistry. And that's the whole point with all this. We found a bunch of artists. So the artists are about to storm the castle quietly and without violence. That's what all this is. Keep going, sir.
Yeah, that's the plan. And I mean, I think that leveling up and leveling up and then seeing, with the movie that I just had, I got the biggest stars that I could, which happened to be comedians. Greg Warren just put out a special under Nate Bargatze's Nate Land, which is on YouTube. So that's produced by Nate Bargatze. Libby Higgins is just starred in the movie with Theo Vaughn and David Spade. So these are the people that I had in the movie, which to me were the biggest stars I could get at the time. And the goal was to show, hey, this is the blueprint. Get the biggest people you can to get eyeballs on your thing. If you get money, invest that into talent that will bring eyeballs and also a better chance of getting into a film festival or whatever it is. To me, festivals, I'm not sure, they could be dead, but it's just that was kind of my goal when I first started, was who's somebody that can move the needle.
Film film is not dead. Neither are the festivals. It's funny. I'm wearing this as you say that, but so this is what I want to do and partner with brand advertisers, right? Influencers. Some people don't think influencers can act if there's the right opportunity. Well, I say God's in control of all that to begin with, and everyone's a creator, and ultimately influencers know how to engage consumers better than studios with billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Clearly, that's the era that we're in now. That's what's happening. You don't see Warner Brothers with 10 million followers on TikTok, but you see Griffin Johnson, who's our head of Gen Z talent. So if that's the case, and these are literally individual human beings that have bigger platforms and studios with billions of dollars and billions of dollars of debt, what is that telling you about everything? I know what it told me because I went with my friends and built something new and different. So I want to make these small indie movies for specific budgets that advertisers pay for, where no money's at risk. And then you immediately have a platform of 25, 30, 40, 50 million, depending on who the advertiser is. They did that with He's All That, with Addison Rae. I think it worked pretty well, regardless of what anybody wants to say about the movie, which is subjective, so nobody should knock it in the first place. But I know how to do this in a manner that nobody else does, because it wasn't just me, it was you and this entire collective consciousness mindset to just change all this. Um, Talk about your movie and what it's about.
Um, so I had to go through this writing course during COVID, and I kept going, making these very elaborate, like these elaborate stories. And my acting teacher Scott Rod, or my sorry, writing teacher Scott Rogers said, "Hey, keep it simple, Eric. Just be simple. You're funny enough. You're good enough. Keep it simple. The story has to be tight." And then I talked to a producer, Andrew Simonian, and he was kind of he helped kind of guide me through this whole process of just like making sure that I didn't make an art house film that kind of only made sense in my brain, and these long takes and these like symbolic things to where it went over the audience's head, because I knew that you got to ride a fine line. But ultimately what I did was I wrote what I believe is a true American independent film, mumblecore-esque, but it has a tight story, and then I added a surrealistic aspect to it, where it's kind of a dream. A part of it's a dream, but in the dream there's no like, wild CGI stuff. It's just basically things are a little bit awkward, things are a little bit weird, the conversations are a little bit out there, and that's kind of the only thing that's different. A little bit of jumping around to show like, hey, what's going on? Does this make sense? But the audience knows that this character's in a dream. The only person that doesn't know that he's in a dream is the main character. And it deals with Louis and Nicole are both romantic and creative partners. And when Nicole leaves Louis, Louis has no idea how to cope with this codependency because he doesn't believe he can write another book without her illustrations. He gets drunk, passes out, has a dream, and then it's kind of him dealing with his anxieties and also his ego throughout the dream. And then when he wakes up, maybe he changes, maybe he doesn't. So that's kind of what I feel like. A lot of creatives, we tend to have that imposter syndrome. We tend to believe that we need other people to move forward. And
That
I
was
mean,
my biggest problem, and
I think it's kind of,
100%.
we definitely need people to help us get to where we want to go. But I think that initial start is kind of believing in who you are as a person, and then stealing a little bit, but then making it your own and just going.
Facts. Thank you for that. That was very well said. Yeah, I dealt with imposter syndrome. And like I said, staring at a bunch of mirrors, basically a bunch of individuals that I cared about that I was helping push forward, but they were all mirrors to me because I didn't think I could do something. I didn't think I could direct. I come to understand that we're all born creators. We're all artists at heart. We just have to commit to something that's bigger than ourselves. And we ultimately step into what that is. So that's why all of this is happening. And it's been endless belief. You've met some of these people. This list is a billion miles long. I want to focus on some of the plans that we're going to do in Nashville. This video here is going to go towards the end of what's going out in 2 days on Friday. So we can already talk about what we're doing with Canyon Country in this. So basically, um, as you and I have spoken about, along with Mr. Taylor John Smith, his sister Chelsea, your brother, what we build as it relates to Canyon Country, Nashville is going to be connected to your family's legacy, Taylor's family's legacy. You see, you've got a brother, he's got a sister, both of you are actors. Mike's in sports, she's in music. So we're going to craft a whole legacy around basically what will be the Canyon Country headquarters that we collectively built together there. We'll find a place that we also build an amphitheater in, and we're going to put Nashville even more on the map than it already is. But that will be one of our main core hubs, not only for advertising spots, but I want to give you literally kind of a backyard environment to where you can go and just make movies. And we can send people there and send the influencers there to shoot the advertisements, the commercials, make the films. And all of this is in a massive visual overview that the whole world's going to see here sometime after this airs on Friday. I'm going to release that publicly before the end of next week. And so you're the gatekeeper, Eric,
Huh.
as it relates to Nashville and the film and TV content and the partnerships. And you're part of the Gen Z generation of this that's overseen by Griffin and Joey Stanton. And I mean, like, look, anybody that wants to question the validity of anything I've walked and done, Joey still manages some of the biggest, literally, talents that are currently in our business and discovered some of the biggest talents. So if he knows talent in that manner, what exactly did he see in me for me to walk through this every day for 14 months with him and build it all? That's why he's a CEO and on the board, along with the other magnificent seven, from Martin Kleba to other individuals. And you see, it's always going to be a magnificent seven having meetings with people moving forward. That's the Leadership Advisory Council, but it's a magnificent seven of times a lot more, because that's why everyone pops in and out depending on what the IP is or the business verticals that we're meeting on. Um, so sorry, I can't help but talk about this because it's finally about to be in the world.
No, I get
Um,
it.
I want to. So what we're going to do, your film is going to be the first trial case study of this. Let me let in Bruce, who wrote all this out with me. Your film's going to be the first trial case study of this. Um, I want you to talk about and I'll put up on this video when I post it a link to your Venmo so people can donate to you directly for your art and for your work. I know that you have it up on Amazon right now, self-distributed, but you see, I'm doing this kind of like how they used to do cable back in the day. We're going to do one airing, and I'm going to set a schedule, do one airing a week. People can come and they can watch the movie, and I'm hoping that when the world sees this and sees us with yours, that then more people would just reach out and contact us. We'll set up direct payments with them. We don't take any of that money. It goes straight to the filmmaker. I wanted to give a platform that's 24/7 a day, in between content that's edited, things people own, live streaming venues that we break into the channel on and have conversations like this, but in real time on, but a place where people can come almost like having your movie premiere in a film festival where it screens one night, but it's on our platform. And if anybody wants to contact me to get their art, which is subjective, seen by the world, we will air it. I literally love They Live until then a time. I visualized all this like if I was actually taking over the station. In They Live, if you go and watch the end of the movie, there's literally a scene where it says by the year 2025. And last time I checked, Mr. Bruce Cheng, who just came on, and myself and Sydney, Jay Ivy, Jamie King, Robert Russler, Martin Kleba, other amazing human beings in this, created the movie They Live, but in real life on our platform. We could broadcast anything at any point in time, from short films to feature films to TV pilots to shows. Martin stars in an old series for Comedy Central that I want to reboot. Yet another thing that if we got Paramount, I could relaunch with an A-list cast. I think I'm going to air that. And then I'm going to deal with Paramount's legal team coming after me because then I can shine an even bigger bright spotlight on it. I have all the webisodes. They're on YouTube. That's going to air on Friday with everything else. I'm taking a Comedy Central owned IP and I'm broadcasting that shit for the world to see because the talent that is a co-CEO partner of ours, and this is me making this decision. It's me pushing the red button. Nobody else. It's no one else's idea. But I'm done. So I'm quietly going to use my voice, my platform, and shine a big bright spotlight to create a conversation within our business to see if people want the corporations and all the corporate dollars to continue dictating art, or if they want to unite with all of the other artists that have believed in me and something bigger than oneself, to change it all overnight. And then that's another movie you're going to help produce, Eric. Rocco Nugent's film that he wrote overnight. We're going to make. It's one of our main indie side 3 million and under projects. And so that's kind of the core, man, because Nashville, Texas, you, Rocco, Taylor, it's going to be an endless ecosystem circle of just creativity and talent. Our own version of what Soho House is, but overseen by us that the whole world can participate in. Bruce, this is Eric Chandler. Glad you guys are getting to meet face to face instead of on phone calls.
But
Hey, how you doing, Bruce?
all right.
All right.
And Eric, Bruce is going to co-direct The Pucks, which is written by Eddie George. It's our directorial debut. He and I have lived a horror film at some points in the last almost year together. I love that you're wearing red, just like me, collectively putting this together. And I'm going to create a whole new wave of filmmaking, just like they did on Warfare that Taylor's in. Multiple films co-directed by multiple people across all fronts. Directing movies is a big job. For anybody's ego to come into play and say that that's just an always sole individual situation. It's not. There's a lot that you can tag team and work collaboratively together on. So I'm inspired by people like Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg that know this is bigger than themselves. And the way that they're able to put out so much content into the world that the globe consumes is by working creatively and collaborating with multiple people on multiple pieces of IP at once. I love seeing the studio created by 4 or 5 people. You know, I had the privilege of meeting my boy John Radinsky, who's going to open our film, who's also going to help oversee the comedy side of what we're doing with Holden Schneider, Mike Marino, D. Ray Davis, other people we've talked about. And, you know, he let me know that he knew one of the co-creators of the studio. Again, this journey I've been on, driving into the set, I get told that. I knew I was in the right place and time, but film is a collaborative effort. It is not one voice. That's why I hate when it says a film by. Not knocking anybody that puts that. I don't know. I can't remember if your movie has that. Sometimes it is a
Can't
sole.
remember.
What did you say? Sorry.
I said I can't remember.
Sometimes it is a sole, very specific artistic vision, but not in this case. Bruce, Tommy Bina just called me. Um,
Okay.
so are you gonna go, Eric? Hang on one second. Are you gonna go pick that up by the time?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Eric, Mr. Bina is after basically December, January, February, March, April, May. After almost 8 months of Bruce and I working endlessly with Tommy, who kept us alive during the time period when I was having to sleep in Bruce's Toyota Tacoma work truck, amongst other areas where amazing humans that were our partners in this gave us shelter. You see, the reason why, even though we were homeless and not having a place that was our own, we had places we were staying in because the work we were doing could not take us off the path, and everybody knew how big it was. So all of those people win in the end of this at life, creatively as artists. My whole goal with this is to make everybody's dreams, not just mine, come true literally overnight. You believed in me, Eric. I have a movie that literally you're going to be the lead in as well, that Bruce and I are probably going to direct. One of the co-leads, I'm not going to talk about on this, but that's based on a book. It's a massive piece of IP. You're the right age range. So I'm making everyone's fucking dreams come true because that's all we have. You know, like you said, your acting coach telling you, oh, you're not a writer, you're not a director. That shit is done. Everybody can be multiple things. People pick characters that they play in the Matrix to begin with. Anybody can be anything they want. You want to go be a musician, you could be a musician. You want to be a writer, director, and actor, you could be a writer, director, and actor. I am done allowing people to tell human beings that they cannot do things when it's for a better good. So it's all passion. And I will get with you tomorrow to get an upload in place so we can continue to change the world together. Is there anything else that you want to share with the world in the manner from a platform standpoint that we finally have for our voices to be heard?
Um, I don't know. I think that you kind of covered a lot of it. I talked about a bit of it. I mean, at the end of the day, though, um, yeah, the way I've always looked at this stuff is it has always been bigger than me, and it's tough because I've been the sole person, and sometimes you gotta have a bunch of people around you, and I'm in every single conversation, every single scene, and sometimes I feel like I'm like, hey guys, I'm not here to be like this Eric Chandler thing. Like, I'm here because I have to do this because I'm nobody, and no one's going to come here and direct my movie for, a Subway sandwich. Like, so I have to do these things.
100%.
So I've done a lot of stuff. So I mean, at the end of the day, like, everything, nothing, I'm bigger than nothing, and this stuff is really, truly, like, just to make something to where people think, and also to help people escape. That's kind of my whole goal as a filmmaker and an actor, is to help, people basically escape things. That's pretty much it. So that's all
100%.
independent filmmaking.
I love it. You know, I realized too, you and Bruce are kind of, thank you. Actually, let me, before I jump into that, thank you for everything that you just said. And thanks for being a partner till the end of time, a board member in this as well with your brother, him in sports, you in film, once it moves forward, which it has. That's why I'm doing all of this. You and Bruce are kind of a weird yin and yang as well. Remember, I've been talking about when you shake someone's hand, it connects you to that person at a divine place and time from a biology science standpoint. I know that you're an actor in a film with Mr. Kevin James, and Kevin and Vince Vaughn go back many years. And Bruce, you want to let the world and Mr. Chandler know what iconic film you're in and who you play in that, sir? Even though it was very brief, it still connected you to legacy forever.
I play the groom in the Chinese Wedding and Wedding Crashers, and yeah, you can see me giving Vince Vaughn a high five.
Nice.
In the
High five, connected fingerprints.
Nice. That's a classic. You were part of one of the greatest comedies made in the last probably 50 years. So that's good.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. So I want to make a movie starring the two of you, a buddy comedy. I've got ideas. That's all I'm with now, dude. Visions, ideas, and that's all I want to do. So this is the start, Eric, of an incredible, finally, collaborative walk and partnership. And thanks for writing this out, and thanks for utilizing your voice, your family's legacy to get behind us changing literally what I feel is going to be the entire entertainment industry overnight together. At least put a spotlight in a manner that isn't corporate dollars to corporate money, because me and my friends and my family built all of this with no outside investment, not one single dollar, until we went and pursued Paramount and Malka Equity stepped up and went and got sheiks and royal families to back a vision collectively that was put forward. So I'm launching a fund with Michael Orsini of Malka Equities who is the managing director, who got the 13.5 billion cash together. And from this point forward, we're going to fund a world that's made up of peace, love, kindness, forgiveness, and positivity and light. And if any investors want to literally change the world, well, we are all very easy to find, and nobody can deny anymore that we don't have any leadership. So thanks for making this happen. Seriously.
No. Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it and giving me an opportunity to kind of speak on some things. And yeah, let me know. Let me know. I'm ready to do whatever.
Thank you. I'll be in touch between now and midday tomorrow, and then I'll get you with Dion so we can get your movie uploaded into the stream.
Okay, perfect. That sounds great.
Bruce, thank you. I'll
Good.
call you on the phone, and we'll call Tommy together.
All right, cool.
Hey, Bruce,
Eric.
nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you, Eric.
All right,
Later.
you guys have a solid day. All right, see you.
Thank you.